Descent into Darkness, a Call of Cthulhu campaign. Hello and welcome back to Deathwatch's Call of Cthulhu campaign, Descent into Darkness, Season 4. This is episode 25, and I am Keeper Travis. Today we return to a night battle where our stalwart investigators have ambushed a group of Bedouin. Before the battle continues, let us get an introduction from our investigators.
I'm Brandon. I'll be playing Bartholomew Wentworth, and I'm taking part in this night ambush.
I'm Chris. I'm playing Charles Stanton, and I too am an ambusher.
I am John playing Keeper Travis. Yes! Win the game. No, Joseph Thompson, who is also taking part in this night ambush, but on the side of the Bedouin.
Unbeknownst.
Dun dun dun.
He's gone native.
But why? No, he was like a intelligence operative for the Bedouin deep implant.
This whole time.
Yeah, they have a robust spy program.
A little mostly isolationist America.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll begin the new round of combat at the top with Bandar al-Jadi, who is up with a small group to the east of that ridgeline. You guys are in the cover behind rocks looking down at a vast number of Bedouin that have been cast into disarray by fire from Stanton and his men. So he will take the first shot of tonight. He is armed with the rifle he carried with him, which was one of those M1898s, the Mauser 1898, I mean to say. For him, he doesn't have any optic, so it's a hard shot range-wise, and he has a penalty because of nighttime conditions. We will see how he does. He failed.
Not that bad.
But I won't
give him a thumbs up.
Nice try.
Just pat on the
You're
back.
doing the best. Okay, so one half of this Bedouin raider group, Bedouin Raiders B, had kept together better, and they were sort of traveling from up here, and they were going to end about 400 yards this way was their direction. And the fire has just spurred them, faster that way currently. They do have a bunch of flashes off to the northwest where you guys are sitting and where Ali Al-Jafar is on the other side of those rocks. So they will attempt to return fire. It's a very difficult shot for them, given
Here
that
comes GM criticals. Let's see.
that you're all in cover. So just like Al-Jadi, it's at the hard range, but they have double penalty on it. So let's see how their group fire does. There's 29 in this group. Potential for a fumble, but they're clear on that. So yeah, they're firing from Camelback as they're riding along to the southwest. Now Stanton's men are up by you. You got 7 of them there. And they firing back as well with their good old handy Lee Enfield. Close. See what the penalty makes it actually 52 versus 27. Which finally brings us to our first investigator, Charles Stanton. So you see, the reality of this is that a lot of people you're shooting in a direction, so accuracy rates are very low in these kinds of engagement, but not so for Mr. Stanton. Likely, he's an expert. You only have that one penalty to deal with, and your range should be at normal given your scope on there.
All right. Yeah, I'll take my shot at a group that is near me.
Okay, they're relatively all in the same areas at this stage.
Hard success. Just because. Left leg.
Yeah, so you can see that shot down both the rider and the camel. And Ray is whiling away his time in his little vicar's nest back there, waiting for the signal.
Yeah.
So pass him. We'll see how Jackson does. He's right next to you
With his 45.
with his 45. No scope for him. 1 penalty. Manages not to explode his gun. So Wentworth, you're up in those rocks, firing downward at these enemies' backs. You have, despite your closer proximity, you're still past the normal range for the rifle, but you have a scope on yours. So I believe in your case, you have 1 penalty for the nighttime and 1 penalty for your current exhausted state, despite taking cocaine. Or wait, no, you don't have that one. The cocaine made that so you don't have to worry about combat penalties. So yeah, 1 penalty at the normal difficulty level.
Okay. Fail.
That's getting spooky, man.
Mhm.
Need to keep it below them 90s.
Yeah.
And you have your ammo tracker above your head you can
Yeah.
fiddle with. Okay, Bedouin Raider. The other Bedouin Raider group had reacted badly to being fired upon. Understandable. And they had split, where some had gone forward and others began scaling back up that dune. Not like right at you guys, but it looks like they'll pass closer to you eventually. And they're just in too much disarray to react to the gunfire that seems to be coming from all directions. But Nigel, who's next to you guys, will take a shot with that bolt action of his.
Hmm. And, remember, we are trying to kind of drive them off to the south.
Mm-hmm.
So that way we can get them caught up in that Vickers when Flanagan starts or gets the signal.
And then the other band are, ooh, will the penalty take his glory away? Yes, it will.
Hmm.
And then Ali Al-Jafar and his Baniyam Bedouin will attempt to decimate with a 12-shot volley. Ooh, extreme. They got 1 penalty, though. Dang it. So, yeah, it's a little effect from the NPCs there, but Joseph Thompson will come in because he's also scoped up, I think, with that
Yeah.
Henry, or what is the rifle you have again? Sort
It's
of like an
the,
in-between a regular...
Yeah, 404 Jeffries, almost like the elephant gun, just smaller caliber, I believe.
Okay, so you have the same conditions as the rest of your fellow investigators, which is a normal difficulty, 1 penalty die.
Oh.
Dang it, robbed. So that moves us to the end of the combat round and the end of the combat turn. So at the head of this, we can do command and maneuver any that you want to give, and I'll complete the maneuver for the Bedouins. So this group has moved their camels up to the beginnings of the dunes in the southwest as you head more towards the village, while this group had gone up some yards this way to the northeast, just past you guys, really not noticing that you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, this one has taken a defensive position behind these dunes here. They seem to be somewhat aware of the fire coming from your position, Stanton. So what do you guys want to do? We'll say your group. We'll start with you, Wentworth. Are you the one issuing commands for your small crack team of commandos?
Yeah, how many are in the group that's next to us?
Okay, so this one that just went by you was 14 Bedouin.
Okay. Well, we need to focus our fire on them because we can't have them getting behind us.
Okay.
So that's what I'll tell everybody to do.
But otherwise, keep your defense up in the rocks here. Like everybody's got their own, man or bigger sized rock that you can duck behind.
Yeah.
So it's very good cover. Stanton.
Does that kind of go like that? The range of fire for that Vickers, are they in it, or is it?
Yeah, they can do it. He can do. Here I got Ray Flanagan traced off a map. I can give you the exact distance. So he's about 680 some odd yards away from where the Vickers is at. Ray can attempt to shoot there. He'll have to expend more ammo to make it happen, but I will automatically choose the safest number of rounds for him to shoot out.
All right.
Unless you command him to do different.
So the idea now, because they broke up all and scattered to the damn winds, is that we probably won't be able to force them south
Right.
anytime soon, is just to kind of halt that guy's movements so
Okay.
he can't just break away. We got
Right.
him in the killing hole. We need to keep him there. So Stanton this round will begin to
Okay.
signal Flanagan and give him coordinates to kind of or orders to kind of just try to lock him down, make him hunker down. So just kind of shoot into that area.
Okay.
Mm.
So Ali's going to kind of move a short distance up in these dunes here, kind of a parallel motion with the Bedouin. Maybe he can kind of cut them off if they go that way. That's his thinking anyways.
Mhm.
He's not really waiting for a command from you, though. He's using his own tactic knowledge. So we'll give this turn 2 rounds.
And the rest of my men will continue firing on the
Okay.
ones that hunkered down near us.
So I'll give you, let's say, new range from your position. So what, like 320 for that group? Bedouin Raider Group D over here is closer.
Yeah, that's who I want my team to keep
Okay.
shooting at.
All right. But they're now entrenched, so it'll be an additional penalty on their rolls.
Well, if they're entrenched, they're not going after Wentworth's team. Or,
No, it's a
Yeah.
good idea. Okay, so I think we have all the strategy figured out. We'll do...
any of my men have grenades? 200 meters is pretty far to throw, though.
Yeah. But probably they do have grenades. I would expect I wonder how good they were back then. But it doesn't matter. If it comes to it, if you want them to start, if they get into close enough to throw them, I'll
like
pull
that.
up the stats.
I like to think if they do have grenades, it's like different grenades from each of the
Yeah.
factions from like World War One.
Yeah.
They still all have like the little
It's like the matchstick ones.
cannonball with a fuse you gotta light.
Those ones, yeah. Because I don't think they devised the sort of baseball pineapple shape until
Much later.
World War II, right? All right, because they thought we'd be better at throwing them. Okay, so I think I got us set up here. So predicting what you can see from Bedouin Raider Group B is that they're going to continue about 400 yards, given that nothing has stopped them at the end of this combat turn. This half of Bedouin Raider Group D will stay entrenched there, and these guys will continue moving in that direction. And they won't make that movement until the end of the combat turn. Now, you guys are free to do your individual movement outside of the combat turn. This is just for the purposes of getting a group to move as one. Okay. Bandar al-Jadi. So you're going to disabuse this group of their notion of trying to flee. And luckily for you, they've moved themselves into an advantageous range. So we can go at the normal, regular difficulty, 1 penalty. Oh, still missed.
Oh, Jotty.
He's a better thrower. You need to give him the grenades.
Yeah.
All right, Bedouin Raider Group B. Lobbing some fire back at Ali al-Jafari. Still missed.
So would I do it from my position?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm using Stanton as the position for all of Stanton's men and Jackson. I'm using Wentworth as the position for Thompson and all of the people that are near you, because the tokens are much larger given the space you occupy. Okay, so Stanton's men coming in at a more difficult range with 1 penalty. So they pop up from behind their rocks there and fire off in unison, which brings us to you, Mr. Stanton.
All right, yeah. I'll start signaling Flanagan.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess I guess it's up to him and Marco. Like, they'd probably triangulate off of my position. So I'm going to start saying west, was it like 300
Right.
yards or whatever? And what do you want for that?
No roll necessary. It's just there's a delay on the command reaching Ray, so he won't be able to do it this round. He'll see the flash, but he's still waiting for the more distant, like the amount of yardage to start firing it.
Yeah, so I'll spend my turn.
All right. Alternatively, you can shoot and have one of your men do that if you'd like.
I'll think about it. Like, if Stanton gets annoyed, like if the message isn't like clear enough, he'll
Okay.
you do this, and he'll take up shooting.
All right, Jackson, let's give you a shot. Oh, I don't have to do the penalties. Clean miss. Okay, Wentworth. Normal difficulty, 1 penalty. for that group you're interested in firing upon.
So there'll be 2 rounds of this before the end of the turn?
Right.
All right, I'll take aim then. Get rid of my penalty.
Okay, these guys that you're aiming at, they're continuing to trudge up. These dunes are quite steep, so that it becomes difficult with the camels when this occurs. So they slow down a bit as they're moving up that way. Now, the one that entrenched themselves here right at the base of the ridge will try to pick some targets as best they can off in your direction, Stanton. So they will, they're taking a round to side in, basically, for this one, which brings us to Nigel.
I'm going to order all my men to start jumping and ducking.
Nigel will take lead from you and try to drop his penalty. Same with Bandar Hadi. So Ali Al-Jafari has a pretty difficult shot here, so I think he's just going to reserve his ammo until he's in position. So, Mr. Thompson, what's your move going to be?
So if we take aim, that negates the penalty?
Mm-hmm. But it has become an easier shot at this group that Wentworth has pointed out to all of you. Instead of... Well, it hasn't become easier for you guys because you had scopes, so never mind. Belay that order.
I'll as they're gonna end up moving at the end of this. I'd imagine they're going that way. So I'll take a shot at it.
Okay.
Nice.
1 penalty on there. Brings it to a 20 versus 65. Is that still extreme? No, you need 13 to make an extreme, but it is a hit for 12 damage. Do you want to roll a hit location?
Okay.
Blew his hand up.
I'm not a fan of the hit location.
Yeah, me and Travis were talking like a couple weeks back where it's like the weights are wrong for shooting, right?
Yeah.
But they would probably work for melee. And he's like, I've messed with the weights trying to see, and it's always limbs.
Yeah, they had a default one as an optional table in there, but I went and I tweaked all the weights on them, and I expanded them to put like groin and eye shots in there.
Yeah.
And I looked at human anatomy sections by percentage of body mass to determine the weight, and still left hand, left leg, that sort of stuff. Left arm, I should say. Anyhow, yeah, so you explode his right hand, not that you would see in the darkness, but Mr. Wentworth is surely aware that when he topples from his camel, he's crying out in Arabic, my hand
has been exploded.
Allah be merciful. But well done. Good shot. Go on to the next combat round. Good old Bandar Al-Jadi again. He couldn't be like everybody else and wait around to take aim.
Hey, man, you only got so much time on this earth.
That's true. Okay. No chance for fumble there. Stanton group.
What do I pay you guys for?
It's a hard shot, boss. Bringing us to Mr. Stanton. Which you see both of these groups, when they fire, they kind of do it. There's still the dregs of, like 18th, 19th century battle tactics in this, where they're firing off in unison, right? Timing their shots, which is still kind of the best policy.
Mm-hmm.
You get that kind of machine gun effect. But anyhow, yeah, that's the lay of the land for you.
All right. Was it my turn?
Yep.
Continuing to relay to
Okay.
Marco if I need to.
Yeah, we'll say...
Or maybe even delaying if they already have the coordinates.
Yeah, I'd say a round's enough to get it out.
All right, so could I delay and tell them if they're on target or correct after their burst? Okay.
Yeah. So at this stage, I'm putting just a round delay between what you communicate and when he can react to it.
Okay.
So if you delay, it'll kind of shrink that a little bit. Okay, so Ray Flanagan. Here we go. Let's see. He's going to expend triple the amount of ammo to make sure that difficulty stays at regular. He has 1 penalty for the darkness, which means he can fire. He's going to fire 52 rounds.
Sounds like a reasonable number.
And let's see what happens. Basically 14 effective rounds. First one has 1 penalty on it. Let's try the next volley with a double penalty. But unless he rolls 100, he's not going to fumble, which is what I'm keeping him at.
Oh, Flanagan, you drunken son of a bitch.
Wow. Unbelievable.
We were playing with fire, if I'm being honest. We mentioned fumbling in 100 multiple times today. So.
Yeah.
But he is being overly cautious, so you'll hear the click, 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 far distant to the south, and you'll see him pepper in the desert there, and he shoots way past Bedouin Raider B, and he's just going up a little too high. And give me a luck roll, Mr. Stanton.
I want it to be noted that I did indeed warn Mr. What's his name? That we were going to be using that Vickers.
Okay, so we'll see. All you can see from your indication then is that after he started firing, it stopped, right?
Okay.
Immediately at a certain stage. So
jamming,
just don't know
failure to feed, or hopefully, right?
Yeah, happened on his end.
But he was going high.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on my turn, I'll start, telling him to angle further south. He was too high.
My reading the bones was that if you failed the luck roll, he would have some kind of malfunction with the gun, but if you succeeded it, he would have potentially hit some of Ali al-Jafari's. Did I figure out what was good and bad luck for Stanton in that case correctly? All right, Jackson.
Yeah, the gun's jamming is worse.
Right. All right, Jackson takes a shot. He's still got that 2 penalties on this one because of the cover, unfortunately. So he misses it. Okay, Wentworth, you've held your shot. Take an aim. These guys have slowed down coming up that dune, so you're at the normal difficulty with no penalties on this shot.
You ready, big guy?
Yeah, he did it.
Yay!
You got the hit location table.
Good damage, too.
Where is the thing? Where is the hit location?
You got to select your token.
Yeah, hit your token, and it's
then
one of the
it will appear up
macros.
in the top left.
Oh, up here. Okay.
Every time.
Come on.
That's not
I'm
possible.
using that stupid thing.
So
His left hand
You
is
destroy.
blocked by his camel.
you shoot through the camel, and it exits and destroys his left hand. He too falls and cries out to Allah,
They're
"Why,
demons.
God,
they
why
keep,
have you taken our hands?"
They keep taking our hands.
You don't understand what kind of sharpshooter I am, man. I'll take away your
Me and
hands.
Wentworth
You can't
both
use them against
understand
me.
you have to have somebody to interrogate after, and you can't just have one.
It's
Yeah.
the left hand, and that is the hand of the devil.
Right? Devil's hand.
This
Did you a
is-
favor, son?
This is Allah blessing them. They just don't know it yet.
See, and
All right,
due
let's-
to Thompson's cold deadness inside, he's taken the good hand. Then he's
Yeah,
taking
Thompson,
the right hand.
He doesn't care as long as he takes a hand.
As long as some body part comes off, I don't care.
He has a hunger for that only hands can sate. Oh, is that okay? That's a problem.
I think 22 versus 45. That is hard, isn't it? I forgot to set them as hard. But yeah, it looks like they did hit even with the penalties. Okay. So, I got a little table I'm going to roll that tells me whether it hits unnamed people or whether it might be aimed at you
Yeah. Oh,
or Jackson. So we'll see what happens here. I think it's a GM1. How many shots do I got? 7? And then give me a luck roll, Mr. Stanton.
the way he's been rolling tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting spooky. Of course, my luck only succeeds when I need to increase it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have an option here where, in response to being fired upon, you can hit the deck, sacrificing your next combat action to apply another penalty to their roll.
Okay.
Just for you. Yeah, so. Because there is one aimed at you, so you'll have to take it now before we would sort out the damage.
Yeah, sure. Stanton ain't no dummy.
Yeah, so you see it. I mean, you see them all. They all fire off, and you just go flat. And I will say, with the training that your men are given, they do a similar sort of thing. But with your failed luck roll, I'll say only half of them managed to do it in time. So let's see how the damage does. So 1 takes 5. Let me roll out a few hit locations here.
I think you should
re-roll.
Yeah, that too. Unless like they're go punching through whatever rock we're hiding behind. I think you should limit it to the upper torso.
If your god will take our hands, ours will take your arms. Yeah, so it's, they're getting shot up over there. You see some of your men just don't get down in time. But all of the hits, according to the damage I rolled out, it looks like 2 would be major wounds that will have to be dealt with later. The rest, they will be able to heal in time. But you hear them crying out and cussing, and now they're in cover, but too late. The other group of Bedouin Raider D reacts to your fire upon them by wheeling more towards the northwest to try to get some cover in those rocks there. So looking at their direction, they sort of... come on, work. Hold on a sec. Froze roll 20 with too many macro and hotkey inputs.
No, poor Flanagan's like if you kind of just end a text chain with ... He's like, what am I supposed to be shooting at, boss?
Well, suffice it to say, they wheel to the northwest. There's a bunch of rocks like you guys are hiding in that they're now aiming for.
Okay.
So you did stop their progress, like leaving the area. All right, so the other half of that Bedouin Raider group will try to take a parting shot at you, Mr. Wentworth, and your cluster of bandits. Let's see how they do. They have double penalty against you.
Ooh.
Could be a fumble potentially on how the penalties roll out, but it is not. So you hear the bullets whizzing by and ricocheting off the rocks where you guys are located, but nobody cries out because their hand was destroyed. Nigel, taking your lead, can now make his shot without penalty at the regular difficulty.
Nice. Good shooting, Nigel. All of our limbs.
Why did the Christians do this to us? Bandar Hadi also took aim. Oh, but he missed. Unless you want to invest 10 luck.
No.
Ain't no one got that amount.
All right, what was our distances here? Still at the hard level for Ali with 1 penalty.
Oh, come on.
So close. Only needs 3 luck.
Well, I'll spend it if I can.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right, so it's pretty good rolls individually on all those shots. I think all of them are a major wound. Yes, they all are. So we can reduce this by a significant amount. So yeah, you see a bunch of shapes that were in that train moving to the southwest, no longer moving. Just a darker spot on the desert.
That's all thanks to me.
I feel less lucky now.
Okay. Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
You did not take aim, so you do have 1 penalty.
Penalty schmenalty.
Well done.
Taking arms now.
I should see how the Bonnie did. Head, right leg, chest, left foot, and left arm. Okay, so that takes us to a new combat turn. New opportunity for maneuver and command. Let me check on Ray here. So in order to get his machine gun going, it will start at a extreme difficult, and then each successive round he's attempting to fix whatever the problem is. It gets easier and easier.
So is it his weapon skill?
Yeah,
like clearing
right.
it? Yeah, okay.
So we'll see how that goes. Not quite this time.
All right.
All right, so yeah. Mr. Wentworth, what do you want to do for your group? Since they've completed their movement, we can put this group has taken shelter in the rocks over here.
Yeah, so we have to focus on that group so that they can't get up above and behind Stanton. So I'll tell everybody we have to focus on that group.
And Group B was a little slowed by the terrain down here once they got into it, so they've only managed to get like so. Mr. Stanton. So looking at your men, you can see 3 of them are going to need attention.
All right. I'll hand the signal off to one of my men and, keep Ray up to date on, Stanton's accent's changing, but keep that drunk Irishman on the position of those raiders.
Okay.
And then I'll go over to the nearest one and start trying to fix them up.
All right, so we'll do...
Can we see that raider group that just moved up into what I'm assuming is cover from Stanton?
These ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you guys have been firing upon.
Oh, okay.
You can also fire on the other one from your location.
I think they have
as you're looking.
some cover from us, though, don't they?
Yeah. Well, now both groups do.
For the rest of my men, I think they have to take this behind cover this turn.
Right.
But Stant will still give orders for them to keep suppressing fire on D.
Okay, let's see if how your group does. I guess they weren't that constitutional. That's not at the extreme level.
Nah.
So 2 of these guys that were shot are unconscious.
Okay.
So if the one that is conscious is wounded, can fire though.
I'm not expecting him to fire, just the remainder of my group.
All right, let's start it up then. Bander Al-Jadi. Wentworth, you've shouted out the command to stay on them.
Yeah.
Keep them pinned there. They can't make it to Stanton's position. So he's going to take aim this time. He's learned something from watching you guys.
Good man.
The sights, they line up.
Yeah.
That's a pretty long shot. Almost impossible now for Bedouin Raider Group B. So they're going to continue traveling southwest, although they're angling more west now, so it doesn't appear as though they're just trying to move it to the village. And your group are, still recovering from ducking.
Mm-hmm.
Stanton, you also have that round of loss too from ducking, but you are going to move on to first aid for your men.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's give Flanagan another shot, this time at the hard level.
Fired.
Jackson took the same action, so hiding behind a rock, waiting for the gunshots to stop. So, Mr. Wentworth.
I'll take aim.
Okay.
What penalty count are we up to if we don't take aim?
So now you are at normal difficulty, I believe, still. You're scoped with a double penalty because of darkness and cover. And that group, both the one to the south and the one that recently got into cover, are also picking targets as well, which Nigel Stedford will do, and Bandar Hadi.
Aiming for hands and arms. This is a war of attrition.
And Ali Al-Jafari and his crew of Bedouin are going to keep trying to hem them in locked in the south, so they'll complete at the end of the combat turn movement. Well, they'll get a slight reduction for being up here. So they'll be more like here by the time that they end. So, Mr. Thompson, are you going to take aim this round or take your shot?
As I will take aim. I wanted to see, as where I just pinged there, is that higher ground than where they are at?
Yes.
From what I can tell from here, does it look like we would be able to see them again?
Yeah, if you got up there,
Okay.
you'd be able to see them.
So I'll make mention of that to Wentworth while I'm choosing a target, and I'll take aim.
Okay.
You notice with horror that there's no fear or emotion in his voice. It's just stating a fact. It might as well be raining
Higher
out.
ground up there.
We could get a better shot at them.
They would be out in the open if we get up on that hill up there.
Well, maybe me and you should just charge into the middle of them.
How malfunction.
As
Who was that?
mount bayonets. As this is the first time you see some light come into Thompson's eyes.
Okay.
Wasn't he Air Force, your guy?
Yeah, he
Or
was.
was he?
No, he's actually a half decent pilot.
He dreamed of the charge.
Dreamed of bayoneting people, though. That's all I gotta do is watch him all explode like little ants down there.
How many planes? How many enemy planes did he take down by just flying through their wing?
be pretty ballsy in the World War One eras.
Head on at machine gun fire coming at him, and he just...
Those weren't even like the bipedal, right? They were just single engines mostly.
All right, Mr. Stanton, you can make your first aid roll. Assuming some sort of triage there, you go for the worst of it.
Yep.
One with the most blood. So go ahead. It's just at the regular difficulty.
And penalty because I'm...
Right,
Yeah.
from the exhaustion.
Submit 2... Ooh... 5. We need these men, but the problem is that this... Well, as long as I don't drop below John, I'll spend it.
Okay.
So success.
So they gain a point of hit point, or 1 hit point, and they also, you can rouse them, basically, if you wish. But you just staunch the bleeding mainly. I'm seeing if Jackson can aid you in this way. Seems like he has first aid, though. So it must just be at the base level for him. Double check.
It's kind of funny because, like, if an aide fumbles, would it be detrimental to me? And then if it was, could I? It'd be like the funniest thing ever to just force, like, oh, I'm aiding you. No, please don't. Oh no, you can't. No.
I don't need any help.
Especially if you were really able to get your skill super low, where you're getting like a 92 to 100 fumble, so it's just super high.
All right, Ray got that gun going up again. Let's check the range here.
Rehire that man.
It's about the same as last time. So he's going to shoot out another 52 rounds for 14 effective. Double penalty.
Come on, Ray.
I won't mention anything for this shot.
I swear to God.
There we go.
Do you want to hire on a new gunner? I've always wanted to shoot one of those too.
Stanton will let these other 2 men die and start taking aims at Flanagan.
So for those of you with the show, Stanton and Ali Al-Jafari, you see him. He gets it buttoned in this time, and he starts chewing into the ranks of this group.
For a second there, I thought he had shot 31 rounds.
So 52, so he's at 104. He's got another one of those in the belt probably before he'll... 2 more. One will just be at a reduced round count before he'll have to reload. All right, Jackson will pop up and try to pick a target down there at those guys entrenched at the ridge line, which brings us to you, Wentworth. Been aiming for a round.
Yeah, so I'll take a shot then.
Okay, so it's at the normal, but they have 1 penalty now because of the cover.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I like to think that the guy I got...
As we can tell the banders to keep them pinned down here. Well, if you want to move.
Luck for that. Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I'll use some luck for that.
Do you want to roll your penalty first?
That was with the...
Oh,
Yeah, I think
penalty.
you're the only character sheet that doesn't have the pre-roll set up on it. If you prefer it that way, you can... I can do it for you real quick.
Nah, I'm fine hitting the penalty button.
I liked it better first until for some reason they made the pop-up go behind everything I have open. It used to be on top. I don't know. Maybe there's some option I accidentally clicked. Hit location, Brandon.
All right.
Left pinky toe. Or the leg. Close enough.
If they're in...
Well, basically, we'll battle tech it. It goes up into the
Okay.
abdomen or something, whatever's outside of cover. Okay.
Yeah, with that type of damage, it's...
Yeah, that's a
doesn't
kill
really
shot,
matter,
basically.
yeah.
I mean, these guys are pretty hardy. They've got 14 hit points, but wounded and out of combat, essentially. But they have been trying to pick targets here, too, so we'll see how they do. They have a pretty difficult shot for you, Mr. Stanton.
Am I technically still behind cover?
Yes.
Okay. So they're shooting at the hump of my back as I'm trying to patch up someone. That's going to suck.
It's a pretty good shot for them to fumble on. How many they got in that group? 14?
Way you're rolling, though. I don't sure.
Yeah. Okay, and then the ones that you're facing off against Mr. Wentworth will do the same, although you've gotten their number down to 9. And in this case, they're only looking at hard difficulty, but double penalty.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Not
As
good luck
each
for
of them is tracking a different target, which they think moved at the last minute. Causes them to fire on each other as a group.
I like to think that they just start doing the what is it, like that shotgun wedding dance? They suddenly got inspired.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's got a penalty on it, though, unfortunately.
Oh.
Okay,
There's
Mr.
some
Thompson.
Good damage in there. All right. So I'll unless the one I was aiming at in that raider group is dead already, I'll shoot at them.
Okay.
Oh.
There's you don't have to when you yeah.
I mean,
I got to check for
could
fumble.
Wait, yeah, you look at the ones place. Then if that was a 9,
then
well, that would already be
then roll it.
a fumble. Yeah, I think the only time
Oh,
you
yeah,
could get a
yeah.
fumble is if you had a 0 there in the ones place in that
What
roll.
Why doesn't my ammo can't go down?
It's not automatic.
You
You
gotta
got to
do
do
it.
it yourself.
How do you do it?
Right click it and then choose a side.
I think you only have 4 rounds in there, so I think you've shot a bit beyond that. So we'll just assume you'll have to reload in the next round. But
Yeah.
that ends up
Yeah,
this,
that should have been my last shot here, so I'll have to reload it now.
that ends up this combat turn. So we'll do movement, and these guys
Did you want to
said they were
set up on that
Yeah.
ridge? Okay.
Yeah, will that take away one of the penalties? Because we've got darkness and cover.
Yeah.
Setting up back over
So-
here where we were talking about.
yeah, like where you're keeping fire on different areas. They'll have to choose basically on who to take cover from, And the idea, as I understand it, is for Bandar, Hottie, and Jotty and Nigel to keep firing from this location while
Yeah.
you guys.
And Thompson and I will
Yeah.
go up there. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll give you a tactical advantage that'll drop the cover thing, assuming you don't fumble
Right.
the stealth part. Okay, so let me move these guys. So they're a little off map now.
I know I shouldn't, but some part of me does kind of, where they're just like, what are these idiots doing? Those full display, those flashlights out,
Yeah.
waving them around. We're
Morse
gonna
code
go
here.
to the ridge over here.
Okay, these guys, Stanton, that you've been trading shots with, they appear to be trying to do some sort of tactical retreat along the ridge to the south, away from you.
All right.
So they'll end up like there by the end of this combat turn. And otherwise, the other half of that group will just stay in cover. So what do you want to do, Mr. Stanton, for command and maneuver?
My one guy's going to keep signaling if they're able to stay on B,
Right.
and give the last coordinates that he can see.
Okay.
Because now, and then the rest of my men will continue shooting at D, and I'll continue to render first aid to the next guy.
Yeah, this will be the last round you can really pick up on them without spots because they stopped firing back, so you don't even see muzzle flashes.
Yeah.
But you do have a light horizon that they're silhouetted against at the moment. All right, so that looks like another 2 rounds for this combat turn. So Mr. Wentworth and Mr. Thompson, it will take you guys a round to travel up to the other side of that ridge.
Okay.
You could potentially shorten it with Constitution if you wish and get up there and still fire in this round, but that's your choice.
As I succeeded, can I start to reload?
Yeah.
Same here.
Okay.
I'll reload as well.
God bless cocaine.
Or wait, no, I wanted to shoot and then I'll reload
Yeah, you got one
Yeah.
left.
because I got a bullet left.
Are you going to take aim up there then? Or,
Mm-hmm.
okay. All right, so Aljadi and Hottie are just going to fire for attention, so they're not going to bother with aiming this time. Who was it that got the fumble? Oh, that was the Bedouin Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Stanton, you're going to continue applying first aid.
Yep, that one looks like a lost cause, though.
Well, maybe Jackson will throw it out there. What's the worst that could happen?
He comes
He
back.
sticks his fingers into the wound and makes it worse.
Yeah, so that guy will actually need proper medical attention
Oh.
at some stage.
So yeah, Stanton will just tourniquet the best he can and move on to the next guy.
Mr. Flanagan is getting your commands in order, sighting in on that new location. So Wentworth ran up the hill, took aim. Bedouin Raider group will fire upon the two Bandars and Nigel. They have double penalty, though. Nigel returning fire. Gonna be robbed.
No. Oh.
Yeah, well above.
Dang.
And Joseph Thompson, you get up to that ridge and you successfully reload your weapon.
Roll for fumble.
Right.
He puts him in backward.
Oh, actually, would you guys put a whoever's got the higher or lower stealth? We're just checking for fumble.
Mine's 50. What's yours, John?
40 for stealth.
Roll it.
It's because he was a flyboy, so he makes a
Critical success.
Nice.
Looks like he's a stealth fighter.
Mm-hmm.
First of my kind.
So that position you guys moved to, I will say that it's such a good position. The little bit of clouds in the sky or the moon peeks out from them, that crescent moon. So you get a sliver of light into the Bedouin group. So from your guys' position, for this round, we can drop the low light conditions. You see it. You have like good shots to them.
Okay. So that'd be up to bonus then, right?
I think that would put you, yes, with one bonus die. All right. Continuing. Covering fire from Bandar Al-Jadi. No, not quite.
That's close.
I don't even think I have to check on that one. Bedouin Raider Group B continues. Stanton Group.
They will now begin to fire on Raider D.
Okay.
And yeah,
See how they do. Come on.
that one group's retreating or doing.
Yeah,
their
trying to.
Oh.
So they don't have the cover penalty anymore. They still have, nighttime penalties. So they're just hard. That's why you don't do warfare at night. Mr. Stanton, there's one more wounded in your group
Yep.
that could benefit from first aid.
Nope.
Jackson will see if he can help.
Ooh.
Close.
No, just slap a tourniquet on him and get his name. So I sent back to.
Okay, Ray is going to take his shot. Same as last time, 52 rounds.
Swear to God, Flanagan.
Why does he always... It's that second one. See? All right, yeah, so he's doing these controlled bursts up there from his machine gun nest, and you just see him arcing out there into the desert. But he's getting closer. He guns down a few more. Okay, Mr. Wentworth.
Okay.
It's your fish in a barrel to shoot.
Success.
Hit location.
Can't get my gun. Can't click on my...
You want me to roll?
Can't click on my token here. Why not?
Got it. No, chest.
I
We'll
rolled
go with
chest.
I had right foot. So chest it is. All right.
There he goes.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, we're in a close enough location.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see how Group D does.
No need to reload.
Don't worry, penalties coming in. Potential for fumble. Lucked out. Your covering fire continues, Mr. Wentworth and Thompson. That's that first fumble for him. I'm just like, it's because I'm not really tracking their ammo so much. We'll have Nigel need to reload in his next round. Okay, Mr. Thompson, you've reloaded. You can fire on that group now with no penalty at the normal difficulty.
Did you say, or did Brandon say that we had a bonus on this?
Brandon had a bonus because he didn't have to reload when he got up to the top of that ridge, so he took aim for a round.
Let's see.
You could spend your luck.
Nah, I'm still in the rebuilding phase of it. Especially since I didn't get any at the end of last session, since I succeeded on the
Okay, so that Bedouin Raider Group D that you'd been trading shots with Mr. Stanton moves down the ridgeline a little bit. The other larger group will require a spot hidden to get coordinates on for Flanagan now.
All right.
And Mr. Thompson and Mr. Wentworth, you guys see the ones you were fighting with try to retreat to the north. So it looks like they're angling sort of this way.
And they're still on camels?
Yeah, some of them, yeah. Whenever they entrench themselves, though, they get off, and so they're just leading their camels to the north.
Okay. And how many are left?
There's 8
Okay.
in that group. So, Mr. Stanton, what's your command and maneuver for this combat turn?
All right. So I need to make spot checks for the
To
group
see
B.
that big group, yeah.
How many was left in that group?
It was still pretty sizable. I'll tell you, although you probably wouldn't have any way of knowing, but there are 16 in that group still.
All right. If I fail the spot hidden, could I still order or give signals to Marco to go after D?
Yeah,
Okay.
you could give them new coordinates.
All right. So it's worth a try. Penalty 2 on the spot hidden.
Whatever's from your exhaustion,
Okay.
if that applies.
No. So I failed to see them. So I'll give whoever's signaling
Okay.
orders to get Marco or Flanagan to start shooting at D. And
Ollie's more like that.
can I take a shot on my turn, or am I giving orders this turn?
You can take a shot on your turn. This is just the setup for the subsequent combat rounds, so
Yeah, I was just wondering if
okay.
I was taking up my turn giving orders.
Not this time. All right, and what do you want to do, Mr. Wentworth? Keep pressing them in a similar fashion?
Yeah, I'll tell everybody we have to keep pressing, because if they get away, then there's nothing to stop them circling around, and so we'll give chase.
Okay.
So Thompson and I still have a good sight line to him, though, from up here.
Yeah, you'll lose the where the clouds cleared for a moment. That was a benefit of the critical roll on the stealth. This one, you will just have the penalty for darkness since they moved out of their cover
Okay.
and they're trying to do a tactical retreat here. So we'll
What
begin with...
what does the elevation look like here? Does that
So
still
that-
put us above them? Is that like a little ravine
Yes,
right there?
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is,
Joe Thompson and I should move there,
yeah.
Okay. So let's trace a path.
and then the rest can move up to where the group is now.
Yeah. You're thinking like that?
Yeah.
So at the end of the combat turn, not round, you could be there.
Okay. We can still shoot before then.
Right, yeah.
Can I run while looking down my scope and taking aim this round?
No, actually, the only way you get a penalty from running and firing, oddly enough, is just if you're doing like the full-on sprint. But I will say that you won't be able to scope, run and scope. So you will have, you'll have to
Years
worry
of
about
Call
basic
of Duty
range.
have taught me that this is possible. All right.
Okay, so let's begin it off here with good old Bandar Al-Jani. Let me check these ranges. So I guess they haven't moved, so that's still the same.
Am I aware of that group?
Vaguely, you saw the split occur because it was a result of your firing into them, and some went back the way they had come out of sight. You probably don't know their position without some sort of communication with Brandon and his guys.
All right.
So let's see here. Let's still at the hard. Only one penalty for good old Bandar Al-Jadi. So miss. Bedouin Raider Group B is off the map. What do you want? You want your 3 remaining Stanton men or 4 remaining Stanton men to keep firing on that retreating Bedouin Raider D?
Yep.
Okay.
I will join the blob if I get to use my my rifle
Your
skill.
skill. They're pretty long distance shots now, but they'll give it the good old college effort. All right, Mr. Stanton, it's your turn. There's nobody else you can aid with first aid. They're going to have to live or die on their own now.
Yeah. Is that area passable, or would I have to go through
Yeah.
there?
You can see an easily passable area a little to the north on the map. I think you can probably identify it just by looking at it.
Mhm.
But you could also there would be some climbing involved at certain points if you just wanted to make a more direct crossing.
All right, because I'm worried about them coming around if I'm vaguely aware of them.
You and Jackson can have a listen roll and see.
Nope, for me.
Well, Jackson he says, there's gunfire up there over across the ridge, just so you know, Mr. Stanton. And when he points it out, you hear it. That your role was a matter of like isolating the sound and making sense of it in the midst of battle, given that you're right next to a bunch of guys shooting and you're being fired upon, that sort of thing.
So I'll take this shot, and we'll worry about that on next strategy turn. All right. So, was it hard penalty?
Yeah, yeah, it looks like it.
Okay.
We're about 350 yards away from you.
Hard is half.
Yeah, so you're looking at 46, I think.
Yeah, so miss.
All right, Ray is getting your new coordinates. Jackson will take a long shot to no effect. And Mr. Wentworth, you're running along that ridge line. I assume you guys are just where it dips down again, so only your heads are poking up so you can keep an eye on the movement of that Bedouin group. You can take a shot from here. You have one penalty for the nighttime conditions, and you can't use your scope in this situation since it's sort of like running and firing.
Okay. Well, it's just a bullet. We'll try it. Success.
Well done. Hit location.
Yeah. Let me pull this cursed.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
No, it's all right.
It's just kind of funny.
It makes things funny.
See,
Head.
he fast scoped that one.
Nice.
I told you it would work.
He did. Well done. And you're seeing amidst all this, camels wandering in different directions. They get startled by gunshots going off everywhere, but there are many riderless camels now. Okay, so let's see how Bedouin Raider Group B does. This retreating one that was trading with you, Stanton, will not bother firing this round.
All right.
But the one that is trading with Thompson and Wentworth will attempt to fire back at Nigel Stedford and the two Bandars. Hard, double penalty, potential for a fumble, but no such luck for you guys. Okay, Stedford.
Oh, so close.
If you want to pipe in with some luck spending, let me know.
What is your luck, John?
I guess it's like 7 or 8, wasn't it? Or is it 14 now?
I think it's at least more than 13. But anyway, I'm not going to spend it on this one.
Okay. So,
Too
Mr.
much.
Thompson, it's your shot. You have to use your range without your scope, which
So,
I
2
believe would be
penalties?
hard.
And
It would
hard?
come in at the hard level, but you'd have one penalty for nighttime conditions.
Yeah, miss.
Nope. Okay.
Do you want me to go for fumble still with the... Or no, it's a 3. Never mind.
Yeah, you'll be good, I think, on that. All right. So back to the top.
Looks like we can control other people's ammo.
Yeah, it's open to anybody. You can narrow it down to the player, but I didn't really see a purpose for it. All right, Mr. Stanton.
All right. We're still in the same combat turn?
Yep.
All right. So I'll take my shot at the retreating D again.
Close.
And that's as low as it can, or as high as it can get. So, I put my penalty in. Okay. Yeah.
All
right. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to.
Okay, so we'll end today's session with Ray Flanagan firing off that machine gun with the new coordinates, and he managed to succeed with both volleys.
Oh, nice.
So you see that group had tried to make a tactical retreat from their rocks. They were taking cover. They were hunkered down at that ridge line, and Mr. Flanagan gets it exactly right, and you just see it chewing them up. He's able to take out 6 of that group, and they just kind of, splinter and go off in many different directions under the assault of Ray Flanagan's machine guns. Thanks for playing, guys. We'll
Thank you.
have to go another session before we
Thank you.
resolve this combat.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yes, finally. 8.
For real? Dang. This has been a Deathwatch production. Thank you for listening.